Joyce versus Parker. Will this be the Van Gogh of the heavyweight division? These two men will face off Saturday, September 24th. Let's talk about the battle of these two fighters. In a battle that's being dubbed Nowhere to Run, Joyce will be taking on Joseph Parker in the heavyweight division Saturday, September 24th at AO Arena in Manchester, England. These two heavyweight contenders are going to face off for the right to challenge one of the world titles in their next fight. They recently had a face-off, and out of that face-off, there was a revelation about the personalities of these two fighters, which are nothing like what they perform in the ring as warriors and combatants. And I've been able to make my assessment of what I've witnessed from this. But being that these two men are from the other side of the pond, there's some things that are just lost in translation, culture, and overall understanding when it comes down to boxing. To hear the two of them go back and forth talking about beating one another up and getting stoppage victories instead of decisions was a little bit comical. Neither guy is a big talker. Neither guy has that quality to be an attraction as far as speaking before the media. But they can be engaging in the fight. Joyce, who's 14-0 now but 13 KOs, is considered a fighter who is a come-forward type of man who wears down his opponents. Parker, who's 30-2 with 21 KOs, is a bit more versatile in his approach. Though he can be a guy that tries to seek you out, he typically tries to be a man to be a little bit slick, countering, giving angles, and punching in combinations. I do believe the style matchup between the two will make for an interesting battle. It's what's under the surface that will definitely be more definitive about the two fighters. Joyce, to me, is very underestimated with his resolve. He's a soft-spoken guy, but he's a very tough man. 6'6", 250 plus pounds, and he comes forward. I've often talked about him reminding me of the young George Foreman without the Foreman-like punching power. He still fights in that similar style that Foreman used in his early career, not his second career. Joyce operates behind a stiff jab, and he comes forward all the time, thus the nickname Juggernaut. Parker, with his Tongalong background, his nickname, I believe, translates into 100% healthy. Well, he may be entering the bout healthy, but he always finds spots in fights where he has a letdown. He doesn't have that battery that ignites a fire under himself. He doesn't dig. Even when he challenged Anthony Joshua, his fights with Dillian White, he gave them opportunities. Even against Andy Ruiz Jr., had that not been a hometown type fight, he may have dropped that decision to Ruiz. Joyce is going to have opportunities here. So will Parker. And I do believe that Parker is banking on Joyce's ability to take a punch, that he'll have opportunities to hit Joyce with multiple shots, hoping to get him out of there. But that's a problem. You never depend on knocking a guy out. When you set down on your shots, you have to understand that you are also within range for the other guy. And Joyce happens to cover a lot of real estate. One tremendous underestimated quality of him is his will. He fights like a big man. Parker, who's not a small guy himself, at 6'4" and 240 plus pounds, has decent hand speed and mobility, but I don't believe he takes the sturdiest of punches. And typically when he gets rocked a little bit, he doesn't respond in a manner which that you say, oh, he's good. So Joyce may have some advantages there. But there's something else here with Parker. He's a little bit awkward. Matter of fact, his boxing style reminds me of Frez Okendo. And both men were awkward in their approach in boxing. And sometimes it's difficult to land the solid shots on them because of that little bit of a unorthodox method to their movement. But in Joyce's case, because he comes forward consistently, Parker's going to run out of real estate. There's going to come a moment when he has to set down on his punches and try to deter Joyce. That's where he's going to run into the problem. This is not Dillian White. This is not someone who's going to be reckless in his approach. We do know that Joyce can take a good shot, but he's not reckless with it. It's just part of his resolve as a man. And I'll tell you, if Parker can land a great shot on him and it doesn't deter Joyce, what's going to happen is Joyce will definitely turn the heat up on Parker. Parker has had a chance to have some success in the heavyweight division by taking on other opponents prior to now that he decided to either pull out of fights against or to go a different direction altogether. So I really question what he wants from the heavyweight division. He has spent time in camps with Team Fury, which also makes me question what his motivations are, because is he just a company guy, a guy that's just happy to be in the brotherhood, the fraternity of boxing, or does he really want to carve out a niche for himself? That remains to be seen. But in this particular fight, Joyce is the man. He's going to have to defeat Joyce, which is a tall order. I can see Joyce walking him down, getting to him, battering him, and at some point Parker will either submit or Joyce will just overtake him and a stoppage will ensue. The referee will come in and rescue Joseph Parker. Joyce is the real deal. He's not as skilled as some of the other heavyweights out there, but he's as dangerous as anyone. This is Stormy B, man. This is my quick look after the face-off of these two combatants. Leave comments. Let me know what you think. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share.